performance.
Hi, my name is Gordy Knudtson. Welcome to the video for Book 1 of the Open-Close technique. Over the past few years, I've been working on a new way of applying an old technique called the Open-Close technique. In the past, this technique has only been used in one hand at a time. This video will show you a new system I've developed for applying it and synchronizing it in both hands at the same time. Today we're going to talk about how to use the body in harmony with the natural energy and momentum of the sticks. One key to ergonomic playing is to be very loose and relaxed. So the first thing I want you to do is let your arms hang at the sides and just wiggle them as if they're wet noodles. And we're going to just bend our elbows up and put our hands in position. I call this kind of a natural, or the home position, if you will. Notice that the forearm is kind of at a 45-degree angle. It may be 30 degrees depending on the way that you're built, but it is not flat, turned down, or perpendicular to the ground. It's kind of at an angle to the ground. This is a very natural position to be in. There's another argument for the naturalness of this position. Today, a lot of people are suffering from what's called repetitive motion stress disorder, which comes from operating a standard computer keyboard. Typical computer keyboards are flat and straight. In order to operate them, we have to bend our hands out and tilt our thumbs in so that we're parallel with the ground. An ergonomic computer keyboard is bent in the middle and raised, going back to this, again, this natural type of position. Next issue is how to move the wrist, or how we're going to look at wrist motion. The wrist is an amazing joint. It can function almost as a ball and socket joint, but for the purposes of this technique, we're going to view it as if it was a pin going through there, like a hinge kind of joint, so that it moves in this fashion. We want the hand to move in relation to the forearm above and below the forearm. The reason for this is if you take your other hand, grab your forearm above and below, pull your hand back, and feel the muscles on the top of your forearm contract or tense. Put your hand down. Feel how the muscle beneath the forearm contracts or tenses. We want to take advantage of both of these muscle groups, so we want to move our hand above and below the center line created by our forearm. We want to avoid extremes on either fashion. We can't just drum above or just below. It's best going back and forth between. The next piece, the hand or the fingers. When your hand is completely relaxed, it hangs forward with the fingers open. If I take this stick and just push my hand back, notice what happens to my fingers. I'm not closing them with the muscles in my right hand. I'm just pushing the hand back with the stick, but yet the fingers close. This is kind of the way that the body is wired. Here's another little piece of evidence for this point. If you take your hand, put your other hand on top of it, and enough pressure so that you hold it in this position, then try and make a fist, close, and as soon as you squeeze that fist tight, look at what happens to the hand. It rises. So it's more argument for when the hand is above the center line of your forearm, it's going to be closed. We're going to take this basic open-close motion and use it in the position we talked about before. So we're going to be open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. When I'm open, I'm not extending my fingers open, but I'm just letting my hand kind of hang. Notice that the pads on the fingers are actually creating a little shelf for the stick to sit in. Okay, so this is our basic movement that we're going to be doing. Now let's look at putting the sticks in the hands. Again, just kind of wiggle your hands so they're nice and loose and relaxed. Bend the elbows up. And notice how my fingers are kind of curved. This actually creates a platform for the stick to sit in. We're going to just lean forward and grab the sticks and set it in this platform, like this. Now I'm going to close my hands. Notice how the sticks come up off of the drum. I'm also pulling the stick into the crevice of my palm. This also allows the pads of the fingers to be on the stick so we can gain maximum leverage from the use of the fingers. So I'm in the closed position. I'm going to open, just let the sticks fall. Close, open, close, open, close. Notice how when I open, the stick bounces. I can use my fingers to enhance and sustain that bounce. And I can stop it. I just close my hands. These are the basic 3 moves that we're going to use in this technique. The open, the bounce, and the close. Now that we've talked about how the body moves naturally, let's talk about how the sticks want to move. First issue is kind of what I call the angle of attack, meaning how high your hand is in relation to the surface that you're playing. I found that I get the most rebound from the drum the closer to parallel that I can play. The stick naturally will give you more rebound from this position than it will from the higher position. It also allows you to be in position for rim shots. A rim shot is just a slight adjustment of the hand, versus from a higher position, you have to move more to make a rim shot. Here is a simple device we've constructed to demonstrate how the angle of attack affects the rebound of the stick. Let's number the lines on the background from 1 to 6. Line 6 will be at the top, line 1 at the bottom. First, we'll demonstrate a high angle of attack. We put the stick in the ready position by lining the tip of the stick up with the top line. When the stick is released, notice that the tip bounces back to halfway between the 3rd and 4th line on the first rebound, to the 2nd line on the 2nd rebound, and to the 1st line on the 3rd rebound. Now let's demonstrate a low angle of attack. Again, we put the stick in the ready position by lining the tip of the stick up with the top line. When we release the stick, notice that this time the tip bounces all the way back to line 4 on the first rebound, to line 3 on the second rebound, and to line 2 on the third rebound. This simple experiment proves that a lower angle of attack allows more rebound from the stick than a higher angle of attack. Once the stick hits, notice that the natural movement of the stick, the butt end drops below the surface of the drum. If I was to let go of the stick would literally go straight down. See, I'll even try it here, see what happens. What we're going to do with our hand is catch it as it goes down. That's going to be the open, and then when we close our hand, that's the close. So we're going to follow the natural momentum of the stick and try and be as close to parallel when we hit the head as possible. The names of the strokes and the modes. There are essentially 5 basic strokes we're going to use in this technique. They are named from the number of notes the stick sounds during one down-up or open-close cycle of the hand. We have the 2-note stroke, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I let the stick recoil and close my hand and pick it up. 3-note stroke, we're going to insert a bounce in between the open and the close movement. So we're going to be open, bounce, close, open, bounce, close, open, bounce, close. I open my hand, I use my fingers to play that middle note, and then I close my hand. The 4-note stroke, 2 bounces between the open and close. Open, bounce, bounce, close, open, bounce, bounce, close, open, bounce, bounce, close, open, bounce, bounce, close. In the bounce mode, I'm trying to use basically my fingers. Notice how the back of my hand is not moving that much when I play the bounce strokes. There are 2 modes of operation for the stick: separate mode and continuous mode. Separate mode means there's a space between the recycling of the open and close of the hand. For example, the 2-note stroke in separate mode: open, close, space, open, close, space, open, close, open, close, open, close. Continuous mode, we take the space out. Open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open. 3-note stroke, separate mode. Continuous mode. 4-note stroke, separate mode. Continuous mode. Now, one thing I found helpful is to practice these not only with each hand individually, but even as unisons. For example, the 2-note stroke, separate mode, also known as the double shuffle. Continuous mode. 3-note stroke. Continuous mode. And the 4-note stroke. Separate mode. Continuous mode. Now let's look at synchronizing the hands. Let's start with the singled 4, which is the 2-note stroke in continuous mode. The key to doing this is to have one hand chase the other. So for example, if we move very slowly, if we get the right hand moving it open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, I'm going to have the left hand chase the right hand. So the sequence becomes open, open, close, close, open, open, close, close, open, open, close, close, open, open, close, close. I call this the singled 4 because there are 4 notes in this cycle. Open, open, close, close. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's actually a parallel in the world of hand drumming for this technique that's called the heel-toe technique, or heel, heel, toe, toe. Well, I'm not really a hand drummer. This is the sequence. It's the same kind of thing. The 3-note stroke, again, we'll call this the singled 6 because there are 6 notes in this cycle. Again, one hand's going to chase the other. Open, bounce, close, open, bounce, close, open, bounce, close, open, bounce, close. Singled 6. Next, the singled 8, 4-note strokes in continuous mode. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The most interesting thing about this technique, and the thing that makes it very applicable in many different ways, is the fact that you can segue directly from one stroke to another stroke. That's because every stroke starts with an open and ends with a close. I can go from a 2-note stroke to a 3-note stroke to a 4-note to a 5, to a 6, any way I want at will. And because I can do this, I can also go from continuous roll to continuous roll at will, from a singled 4 to a singled 6 to a singled 8. Best way I found to do this is to start the transition in unison. For example, let's go back and forth between a 3-note stroke and a 2-note stroke. 1, 2, 3, 2-note. 3. 2. 'Now let's go Let's stagger the hands and go from the singled 6 to the singled 4. Same exercise. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that when you go from the singled 6 in 6/8 meter to the singled 4 in 6/8 meter, it creates a polyrhythm, or 3 against 2. I'll play my bass drum this time. 1, 2, 2, 2. A little faster. See if I can go a little faster. Okay. Let's go from the singled 6 to the 3-note stroke to the 4-note stroke. The 4-note stroke will create a half-note triplet effect. Now let's stagger the hands. A little faster. Changed it up a little bit in there. Let's try playing around with the 3s, the 2s, and the 4s. 3s, 2s, 3s. Now that we've talked about the basic way of synchronizing the hands, I'd like to address a couple things that I think will help you get to this place faster. Basically, what we're doing when we're using this technique is we're taking advantage of the natural rebound of the stick and the natural inertia of the stick. Simple law of physics is the more mass an object has, the more inertia it has. So my first tip to you is when you begin practicing this technique, use a heavy stick, preferably at least a 5B, preferably even a 2B kind of weight, something that has a fair amount of mass and heft to it. It's easier to feel the energy coming from the pad with these bigger sticks. One other tip is to use a longer stick. Normally I play drums with a 16-inch stick, but for this technique I found that using a 17-inch stick can be very helpful, or 16.5-inch stick can be very helpful. I think it has to do with the simple machine fact of the longer the lever is, the more leverage you get from it. So again, the longer stick lets you feel even more of the recoil energy coming from the pad, and it helps your hand understand how to move. Going even further with this concept, you can use metal sticks. Now, metal sticks have significantly more mass than wood sticks, and therefore much more inertia. It's much easier to feel the center of gravity And the feeling, these are the single fourth, these are the two-note strokes in continuous mode, with metal sticks. Notice that I'm not working very hard when I'm doing this. That's because I'm using all of the energy that's being created by the rebound. Single six. Singled eight. Again, another tip that will help you when you're first starting this is to do this on a pad. A pad is bouncier than a drum, and just to give yourself as much bounce back feeling of that rebound as possible. And obviously we should practice this on the drum head as well. But to get started, start on a very bouncy surface. Use heavy sticks with a lot of mass. The more mass, the more inertia you've got, the more you can feel the rebound energy, and the more you will find that spot where the sticks and the hand as a unit wants to function. Because when you're there, very little effort is required. Okay? I hope my video will inspire you to practice this technique. Personally, for me, the results have been nothing less than amazing. I know it can do the same for you if you give it a try. Thanks for watching. Form B can be found on page 100. A little faster. A little faster. Try that one more time. A little faster.